Have you heard of that tiny little girl named Thumbelina? She had many adventures on her way to the land of the elves. Let me tell you the story. Thumbelina. Once upon a time, there was a woman who had no children, but wanted one very, very much. So she went to find the old witch to ask for her help. The old witch gave the woman a barley seed and told her to put it in a pot. That very night, the woman put the seed into a pot and every day took good care of it. One day, a big, beautiful flower grew in the pot. When the flower bloomed, there appeared a beautiful, tiny girl in the center, no taller than your thumb. That's why she was named Thumbelina. One night, a fat and evil toad crawled up towards Thumbelina's bed.
"She would be a perfect bride for my son," croaked Mrs. Toad.
Having seized the tiny girl, the evil toad jumped down into the garden and hopped all the way to the marsh where she lived with her son. There, she put Thumbelina on a lily pad floating in the water. Her son was trying on the suit for his wedding and asked Mrs. Toad what she thought of it. Instead of giving her opinion, she told him that she had found him a bride and they went to meet his fiancé together. When she awoke, Thumbelina found herself in the marsh, and upon meeting her horrible suitor, she began to cry. The small fish in the marsh saw this scene, and they took pity on the poor, fragile little girl. They decided to chew through the stem of the lily pad, and so the lily pad was quickly swept away into the current and down the stream. Now the evil toads could never catch Thumbelina. Thumbelina floated down the stream for a long time. During her voyage, the birds sang for her, and she thanked them with her joyful laughter. Then a small butterfly came flying by, and carefully taking Thumbelina by the waist, took her even further away from the evil toads. All of a sudden, a big beetle jumped up and plucked Thumbelina out of the butterfly's grasp and carried her off into the forest. Summer passed, and a bitter cold winter reared its head. Without shelter, Thumbelina could have died of cold. Coming out of the forest, she happened upon a big field where a mouse was living in a hole. The mouse took pity on the little one and offered to let Thumbelina stay with her during the winter. She promised to introduce Thumbelina to her neighbor the mole, a worthy suitor despite being completely blind, and he wore a lovely black velvet coat. The mole lived very close to the mouse and often came to visit. One day, Mr. Mole came to call on the mouse and Thumbelina. Thumbelina sang him a song. She wanted very much to sing a duet with him, but he sang so badly that she realized she could never be happy with him. She decided to run away. One cannot live a happy life with someone who knows nothing of music or singing. In the corridor connecting the house of Mrs. Mouse to that of Mr. Mole lay a frozen swallow. "He's one of the birds who sang to me this summer," remarked Thumbelina. She wanted with all her heart to warm him and make him live again. She wove a blanket of straw and covered the little bird. His heart began to beat. Thumbelina brought the little swallow food and drink every night until the swallow was able to heal fully. When spring finally came, the swallow was well again, and Thumbelina decided to leave with him. She got on his back, and he took her to the magical country of the elves, where the flowers bloom the whole year through. After a long voyage over forests, seas, and mountains, the swallow and Thumbelina came to the sun-filled land of the elves. The swallow left Thumbelina on a beautiful white flower. A small man was seated in the center of it, the king of the elves. They immediately fell in love, and he asked her to become his bride. Overjoyed at having found each other and happiness at last, they sang a wedding song together.